So I'm just demonstrating you how you would create your first EC2 instance. So you just go and click on EC2. So as you click on EC2, you would see the dashboard of this EC2. So we have an orange color button here, launch instance. So you will click on launch instance and click on finally launch instance. So this is the step one. As I told you, according to this particular diagram, we must choose one AMI. AMI is basically the template of an operating system to launch your operating system. Secondly, you will select instance type. Third, you will select EBS volume. And fourth, you will configure security group. And fifth, you must have a key to access this machine from the internet, right? So we are going back. So we are on a first step. And here you have to choose Amazon machine image. So I'll explain you later on the complete all these terms like quick start, my AMI, AWS marketplace, community AMI, what all these are. I'll explain later. But here on right hand side, we have a select button. So I'm taking a very first image, and this is a Linux image. So I'm going to create a Linux machine here. So for this, I'm choosing very first AMI, available free of cost. It is available for free tier eligible, right? So we are not going to pay for this because this is available free of cost. But below this, we have some other AMIs, just like Mac operating system AMI. So these AMIs are not available free of cost. So we will choose only for free AMI, right? So we are choosing a free AMI here. So this is the first AMI. I'm choosing it. Select. Now you are on a step 2. You are on a step 2. On a step 2, you will select instance type. What is an instance type? Instance type is a configuration for your virtual machine. So you need to allocate some resources for your virtual machine. It means how much CPU and how much RAM is required for this instance. Instance means virtual machine. So if you see this table, the green color option is available. It means this is the only configuration is available free of cost under free tier account, because you people are using free tier account, and that free tier account has some limitations, has some quota, right? So you have to follow those instructions, otherwise you will pay for the use resources. I do not want to use for resources, so you will use only recommended settings or the recommended resources. Okay, so T2.micro is the only instance type or the configuration of the machine which is available if you are using free tier eligible. And under this, you will get one virtual CPU and 1 GB RAM, right? So, and I think the one virtual CPU and 1 GB RAM is sufficient for me. So once you selected this configuration, right bottom, you have an option to configure instance detail. Click on configure instance detail. It is written in next. Next. So now you are in a step 3. So step 3 is basically the network information for your EC2 instance. And it basically tells you where exactly you are placing your machine within AWS global infrastructure. Right now, I'm not going to select anything. I'm just taking all default values. I'm taking all default values. So I'm taking a default network. I'm taking a default zone. So what are these? So I'll tell you later. What is VPC? What is availability zone? I'll tell you later. But right now, I'm choosing only default value. So please don't make any change in step 3. But please ensure that under this auto assign public IP, under assign auto public IP, please ensure that this must be enabled. What is the meaning of this? It means your machine must have one public IP address. If your machine has a public IP address, then only you will be able to access that machine from the internet. Correct? So let it be. So I didn't do anything on this page. So let it be as it is. Now click on add storage. Right bottom, you have a button, add storage. Click on add storage. As you click on add storage, so this particular screen is asking you to connect your hard disk or hard drive with your virtual machine, right? So by default, you are getting 8 GB volume for your operating system. And according to AMI and according to even AWS, 8 GB is sufficient for this EC2 instance because you are using free tier eligible account or free tier account. Maximum size of this volume could be 30 GB, right? So you should not exceed this 30 GB limit here. So up to 30 GB is it's a free of cost under free tier account. Correct? Now let it be as it is. Even on this page, I didn't make any change. Go and click on add tag. What is a tagging? Tagging is a technique to tag your resources so that later on you can identify the resources. If you are running large number of machines, if you are running exactly the volume is Vaishnavi, I told you volume is in a hard disk drive for your EC2 instance, right? And every machine will have a hard disk. So this wasn't just option to connect that hard disk. So that particular hard disk is known as volume because EBS is a block storage. I'll tell you what is a block storage and why we call it as a volume. But this volume is a hard disk drive for your EC2 instance, correct? Is it clear, Vaishnavi? Okay. So guys, now you need to give the tag to this machine. So click on add tag. You just provide the key value pair here. Let's say I'm giving the name to this machine. What you're giving, you need to define in key name. And what name? Let's say Linux demo. So this is the Linux VM virtual machine. So you can write Linux VM demo, right? So this is the name of the machine you're giving here. And right bottom, you have another option, configure security group. So what is in a security group, guys? What is a security group? Security group is an external firewall, right? External firewall, very right. So security group is an external firewall because you are launching Linux instance. And you know that for Linux, if you want to take the remote of the Linux machine, port number 22 for SSH protocol, secure shell must be open. Then only you will take the remote of the machine. You will take remote of the machine, right? So by default, it is allowed. So I'm not making any change even in this page. So I'll tell you later in detail what is a security group, what are the section of the security group, what is inbound, what is outbound, how to write a rule, how to modify a rule, that I'll see later on. But right now, we are just demonstrating. I'm just taking default setting of this, this security group, correct? Now go review and launch. Finally, so these are the settings you select. Okay, and finally you have a launch button, right bottom. So click on launch. As you click on launch, you would see it is asking you to write the name of private key, the name of the key you want to use for login purpose. If you want to use any existing key you have, definitely you can use existing key. And if you want to create your own key, own new key, definitely you can create your own new key. So I'm just creating new key pair here. Okay. So for new machine, I'm creating a new key, but it is not mandatory. The same key can be used with multiple EC2 instances, right? So key pair name, let me say, for example, Intel, today is 25th May. So let's say this is the name of my key. And I need to download this key in my laptop because I would require this key later on to take the remote of this machine. So Saurabh, in a very first step, when you did select actually AMI, Amazon Machine Image. Okay, download the key pair and you would see left bottom, this Intel 25May.pem key has been downloaded in your computer. So I did download this, and finally you can launch this instance. As you clicked on this instance, the launch has been started, right? And this is the machine you created, Linux VM demo. Did you see? And this is the public IP address provided to your machine. So we have two IP addresses, one public IP address and one private IP address. So every machine will have two IP address. So private IP address is used within the infrastructure of AWS, and public IP is used to take the remote of this machine from the internet. So if you want to access this machine from the internet, you will use this public IP address, right? So your machine is ready. So extremely fast. The process of launching of instances are too fast. Usually in your physical data center, you would take a few hours to just launch your machine. But if you see in cloud computing, AWS cloud computing, within a minute, less than minute, you'll not take more than 60 seconds. Less than 60 seconds you will take to launch a new instance. Your machine is ready. You launch the instance and a machine is ready to take the remote from the internet. Did you find this? Yeah, this is running and this is ready. So guys, this is the machine, and as an administrator of AWS, you don't require even a private key to take the remote of this machine because you are right now working within the AWS, right? So let's say this is the machine. You select the machine. You select machine or VM or instance, whatever you say here. Sometimes using the word machine, sometimes using virtual machine, sometimes saying this is your EC2 instance, but all these terms are referring to the same component. So this is your EC2 instance. And if you want to connect, so we have a connect button here on this top line, right? Just besides this instance state, we have a connect. As you click on connect, it will ask you, so this is the automatically the private IP address came, and this is the username of this instance. This is the username of this instance, and this was a part of AMI actually. So that because you didn't provide any username to this machine, and it came like EC2-user because this was a part of machine image or template of the operating system. And simply just click on connect button here. As you click on connect button, you would see the remote has been taken of this machine if everything is okay. Okay, great. So you are inside the machine.